Yeah.
We're on.
We're on?
Yes, we
Yeah.
are.
Wow. Hey everyone.
Hello.
How are you? How's been your week?
Hey.
It's been good.
Great. We are on live now. We are live.
Yes.
I can't see. Let me get it. Maybe get it on my, can't see it on my handle. I guess see it on your handle?
No, but I guess it's warming up.
We need to see it on our handle.
Yes, it is. It is.
It is.
Yes.
Great. Everyone is synced on their handle?
Yes.
I'm not seeing. I have to see. Hi everyone. Welcome again to our 1 hour session today. 1 hour talk show today. I'm saying session because I'm so used to saying sessions. Karibuni sana. I hope you had a very wonderful week. Mine was quite busy, but I thank God we're here today. Today we're talking about a very, very, very interesting topic. We've had a lot of comments. We've had a lot of people really wanting to hear what we're going to say, and we thank you so much. And I hope you're tuned in. We are here for 1 hour. So I wanted to start with introduction. Maybe I'll start. I'll invite Elvis. Elvis is here, he's joining us today. And maybe he'll start just introduce himself shortly. Then we do Zuze, Judah, and Paulette.
Hi.
Elvis, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Elvis Kitoni. I am a business person. I'm in Mombasa currently. Yes, that is it.
Okay. Paulette.
Hi guys. I am Paulette Wairimo. Good to be here again. I am a teacher and a financial analyst by profession. Yay.
Okay, Zuze. But before Zuze, are you guys seeing the story on your feed?
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
It's under what, Rosalie?
Yes, Roslyn Kikan.
Okay, so Zuze, just introduce yourself.
Awesome. Hey, hi guys. How are you doing? It's your boy, your past year rapper, King from Child. I'm Zuze, and for those who haven't been joining, for those who are joining for the first time, Karibu Sana, thank you very much for joining in. Awesome.
Hi guys. So my name is Judah Amma, aka Judah Domino, and I'm a poet and a missionary, and currently stationed in Nairobi, working with teens and youth. So yeah, that's what I do for now.
All right, Paulette.
I have introduced myself, but Rose, I feel like we need an AKA, Rose, because these other guys.
I think so. Yeah, I think we need to do AKA.
Yes, we need to look forward.
What?
It's a foreign thing.
So today we are discussing a very heavy topic, and we all, as you see us here, 5 of us, we all work with adolescents. We all work with teenagers. We work a lot with them, and most of them, and if not, most of them come with a lot of issues about coming from dysfunctional families. And before we start, I'd like to define a dysfunctional family, just for us to understand. Basically, a dysfunctional family is a family that shows some sense of abuse. It can be substance abuse from the parents. There's violence from the part of the parent. There's a conflict. There's always conflict. There's always noise. Yeah, and maybe the father or the mother is very authoritarian. And there's also emotional detachment from the child. So basically, the children in these families are neglected. They can be the children or the spouse, they're neglected. And the family house is not a safe space. It's become a safe space for the child, because there's continuous neglect and abuse very regularly towards the child. So we want to discuss how to this dysfunctional family, neglect, abuse, conflicts, yeah, emotional detachment relate in the eyes of the adolescents. And I want to thank Elvis for coming in today, and just want you to share with us a little bit about his story. And he'll pick it up in terms of an absent father. Yeah. So Elvis, how dysfunctional was it to you not having a father around? Briefly, could you just tell us?
Okay, my story is that I grew up raised by a single mom who did a very good job, but my father was absent. Never interacted. I had never actually my father once, and I didn't know that it was a problem until I got into a point in my life where I wanted to take a step into now marriage and take more things seriously. So then I realized there are things that I wasn't sure of, like I didn't know who a man was. In that, it got me to a point where I needed to self-discover myself. So in that, I did a called Man Enough, and in that, I found out that there was a lot of me that I didn't know about. There was a patterns that I was so close to myself. I bet around me. And when I looked back in the relationship I was in, every time that I was about to get serious with the relationship, I ran away. So I ran away because I wasn't sure what to do. So because of that, I look back, I say, if I had someone who could actually guide me, because if I could actually see how my father, sometimes there are need to see. If I saw my father, like how they treated issues, difficult times and challenges, it would have helped me make a decision. It made me have a balance.
So what you're telling us is your mom was very supportive. Your mom was there, both single, but she was there and just very supportive, and she tried her best to bring you up. But for you, you saw the dysfunctional when there was no father around. And you just said about the insecurity in your relationship. Are you still in this relationship? Are you still in the relationship?
No, I had to get out of the relationship because, like I said, the fact that my father wasn't around, it caused a hurt, and in my work was different. Like in life was different. I built a lot of walls around me, so I wasn't that person who was actually really open to anyone, not even the people who are really. Because I'm a very talkative person, so people will think that is me. But I was actually disguising myself in that. No one actually knew who I was really. So if you got closer to me, I ran away, like actually cut my relations, cut my ties with you. So when I got into this relationship, it was now getting to that point where I was made. But I realized I needed to clear myself. I needed to heal because what I would be doing to that person is actually negativity to them. Because, it's actually very hard to live with someone who is still not opening up enough for you. So you don't know what to, or you have not figured them out. And even them, they're not willing to open up for themselves to you. So that I had to take a break out of that relationship so that, because my belief is actually, if I'm not whole, I'm not enough to raise someone. And it's not even the fact that you need to be, but the fact that you're aware that this is what I'm working on, so that you start that journey more cautious and more intentional.
Wow. So basically, you felt really wounded, and you really suppress many things inside, just for the fact that you really did not see how a father should be with a boy. So the other question before we move on is, what impact would it have done if the father wasn't around for the girl and the boy? Was there any difference?
Yeah, I think it's in terms of a lady or even I think everyone needs a father to be present, because in the principles of being a father, you need to protect. You need to be a protector. You need to provide. Those are important things to anyone, because anyone needs to be protected of the wrong patterns. Like today, I'll tell you, everyone has temptations of wrong patterns, and that's the protection. Father will help you, guide you, and provide that extra face. Like really, you see, a mother will provide you this side of the story, but even a father will actually put it in completion. Then the protective part is actually, now providing part is actually guidance, because every day for you to be whole, you have to make the right decisions. You cannot make a right decision by. And also the aspect for a woman is also, I think, just seeing and knowing how to treat a man. You can only learn from your father, the person you love most. So if not present, you're lacking in that.
Wow. Wow. So it is very important for a father or even both parents just to be around and to play their roles in the parenting lead. I want us to move on to, just hold your thought there, Elvis. I want us to move on to divorce, yeah? Especially if the parents are not talking, yeah? And Paulette,
Yes.
could you tell us, if parents are not, we are divorcing and we are not talking, how does that impact? Or there's a lot of fight in between the parents. How does it impact this child?
You will see that when parents are not in unity, it affects the child mentally, emotionally, because you will find that most of the times children become depressed. You find children are not even doing as well in school, like everything, like their life is disrupted generally.
Have you worked with a child who?
Yes, I have worked with a child who has suffered through divorce, and there was no co-parenting. So the parents were on and off in court. They're always fighting, and it was hard. It was hard because I knew that girl. She was bright, like she was very bright. But then now her grades are not going as they should be. She's depressed. She got into alcohol. So when I came to know the story behind, it was the divorce that led to her being the way she was. Because she was seeking for love outside there, because she wasn't getting it at home, because the mom is not paying attention to her, the dad is not paying attention to her. They just keep on fighting and fighting and fighting, and it was like she was depressed. I can't even explain. It was so heartbreaking because she has both parents. You know, this is not a situation where you're saying you're a single parent or what. This, as in, she has had the parents, but now they're divorced. But now co-parenting is an issue. Yeah.
Wow. So what you're saying is if parents are divorcing and there's a lot of conflict within the divorce, the people who suffer are the children.
Yes.
Because most of the time is the parents are the ones who they seem to be dividing the children against each other.
Yes.
Or when the child goes to mommy's house, yeah, mommy tells him something about daddy. When the child goes to daddy's house, daddy tells them something about mommy. Who else has had a child who has worked with a child who has gone through that?
Let me
Especially,
just there's a West African proverb which says when two elephants fight, is the ground that suffers. So that
Yeah.
is just what it is. Like when the parents decide to fight, because I've worked with a couple of young people who, like, sometimes they just switch from either being a very quiet to a very loud, or from being from loud to very quiet at some point. And when you dig deeper and when they open up, you realize that home is more like a battleground where every time daddy and mommy are like fighting. So every time he's in a mood of, okay, like, how will home be today when I go home? What will happen? And it's not a very nice space for young and teens to be in, because then it takes the concentration from enjoying outside and enjoying time being with friends and even concentrating in class and stuff. Thinking of,
Oh, so actually, conflict in divorce can actually lead a child, a teen, to substance abuse, to alcoholism, to even prostitution.
And also, I think one
Mm-hmm.
of the things that I think is not only do they indulge in those certain behaviors, but even their social behaviors start to change. For example, problem-solving skills. The kids see how their parents, because we see what our parents are doing, and that's what we learn, and we use it in the society. So even they see that the parents are not solving the problem the right way. That's what they adopt. And when they go out with their friends, even their arguments would be, they won't have those problem solving skills. And maybe they're also just aggressive to be defensive, and really affects their friendships outside. Yeah.
Well, and Elvis brought it up very well. The fact that just the fact that he did not see a father cost him a relationship. Yeah, he had no idea. Yeah, he had no, and that is also the same thing as a divorce. Because as they grow up, you've been wounded from the word go. So what if you're going through a divorce after that, what you can do is sit down as you're the grown-ups. You're the grown-ups in this relationship. These are children. You need to sit down and talk, because you're wounding this child forever. Because if this child does not end up going to therapy or get a person who will work with them, they'll be wounded. They'll have got no idea of what a relationship is, right? And Judah, you brought in the aspect of domestic violence. Because I know you said when a child comes, they don't want to go home because there's violence. Maybe there's an alcoholic or a substance abuse parent.
yeah.
So could you expound on that?
Well, so working around with a lot of teens, I really get to experience a lot of this. Why? Because sometimes it's just the small things that trigger this thing. So there was this research I did recently on why there's so much substance abuse even in high schools. And if you check, it goes back to the rate at which fathers drink at home, or the rate of alcohol which is used in the house to fathers. So there are more rate of boys drinking in schools as compared to girls. And so I met this young lady once, some time back, and she was like, I want nothing to do with God. I want nothing to do with men. Why? Because I've seen what men can do. And for her, what men can do is what her dad does, which is get drunk. He doesn't work. So they own a shop. He takes the money from the shop, goes, drinks, comes back home, abuses the mom, then beats her up sometimes. Then the cycle continues again the next day. Then if he needs money, he has to get money from the lady. And that is what she knows, that this is what a male figure does. This is the male figure. So she's like, me and God, no, because the way we treat God is the same. The way we treat our parents is the same way we treat God. And so if your father figure if there's a problem with your father figure, then there will be a big problem with your relationship with God. And she was like, don't talk to me about God. I know you're a man of God. Never talk to me about God. If not, we cannot even have conversation. Like we cannot even be friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want any relationship. I want nothing to do with men because I don't want any man to come and beat me up tomorrow.
So what that young girl was seeing is domestic violence in their home.
Yeah.
And there's also an alcoholic dad. So in her eyes, and maybe Paulette will come in and help, and in her eyes, a girl would see a father who's an alcoholic. So what does it impact her in her adulthood? How does that impact for the girls you've worked with?
Funny enough, Rose, you see the same story Judah is talking about. I have had a girl who was 20 years who got in an entanglement, let me call it that, and she got into a relationship with a man who was abusive at a young age. And we asked her, and you know what she said? She stayed because her mother stayed.
Wow.
She stayed because her mother stayed. She
Alivumilia.
saw her mother being beaten up, and she even was beaten to an extent she got a miscarriage, but she stayed. So trust me, these things that, we say, children, it's monkey see, monkey do. You do what you've grown up to see. The same case we are talking about values. The values you're taught at home are the ones you grow up with. So what you see is what you know. It's your reality. You don't know anything else. It's your home. So if your father is a drunkard, funny enough, some end up with men who are just drunkards because that's what they grew up seeing. Yeah. There is no positive figure in the family. So you don't know anything positive.
So it ended up being a vicious cycle. My mom was beaten, and then there's this notion kuvumilia, alika akavumilia.
Yeah.
So that's what I know. So even me, when I get married and my husband beats me, or even vice versa, because there are some women who also beat men. Yeah. So for that, it's very normal for that. Usually you have something to talk about that domestic violence and alcoholism in a family. Have you?
I think one of the things that I think people should understand is the power of family. As Paulette is saying, that's what they grow up seeing, and that's what they grow up doing and learning. Really, family is the first thing that shapes a person's mindset, a person's perspective on any single thing. So I believe that because back then, I don't know about now, I think back then it wasn't really visible. You couldn't see, or parents couldn't show that they're fighting or they're arguing. They would do it in closed spaces, but right now it's worse because people can actually see it. And so it's really sad.
And it's right to say we are bringing up a generation that is very wounded.
Yes.
Yeah. A generation that it's seeing abusive parents. Divorce is rising up. Alcohol is a norm in families. Yeah. So wounded children. Of course, now parents are already wounded. They're giving birth to children who will get wounded, and their children will get wounded. So we are basically bringing up a vicious circle of people who are wounded. Yeah. So that's why we are doing Facebook live like this, where we really want to tell parents these things need to stop, and it stops with us. It stops with you. Yeah, it stops with you because you can. There's a story. Remember, we had of a boy who was given everything, the best school, the best universities, but the father was abusive. Yeah, maybe Zuze, you'll tell us more about that story. The father was abusive, but the boy is wounded and he went into depressive. That's about a 16-year-old boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So this guy, grew up in a very well-to-do family, everything, but then the fact was he felt like he wasn't heard by the parents. For some reason, what he wanted to do, like his passion in school and everything, what he wants to do, is not what the parents wanted for him. So the parents were like, we want something better for you and you have no option but to do it. So he felt like he wasn't heard. And that brought about some sort of pressure for him to just rebel and say, okay, fine, you have it your way, but on my side, I'll just do whatever, because I feel like I'm doing this for you and I'm not doing this for myself. And, you know, this guy goes and starts, you know, because he just went to college just to escape from the pressure that he has in the house, from the parents. He goes to school and he starts, you know, indulging in all these things, all these bad behaviors. But the parents didn't see that. And I think the parents are also like perfectionist, if I could say. So they would push him to be better in the thing that he doesn't really want. So because he doesn't want, there's no way he can be better. So bad words start coming out that I think, you know, things like you're useless, things like you know, so many bad words that put a deep wound in your heart that you can really recover, and it triggers some, you know, depression, some, you know, just thinking that the only people that I expect to say something good about me are putting me down, and you just feel like you have no hope. So yeah.
So words are very important. So this guy was told that he's not, he'll not amount to anything.
Yeah.
Even when he was applying for a job, he's told, why you're applying, you're not even good enough by your own parents. Is that, yeah. So
Like
words are also, yeah. The words we tell our children, yeah, they'll either bless or wound. And being in a dysfunctional family, when you are drunk or there's violence, the probability of saying words to your children that will wound them is very high, because part of one of the types of a dysfunctional family is an emotional detached family. And your emotional detached family, maybe you're saying words that will really wound your child. I like also to pick on, when you're talking about words that you say, maybe there's this thing about sibling rivalry. Yeah. When parents try and compare children.
Yeah.
And out of the 3 or the 4 or the 2 children you have, not all of them are going to be A students. Not all of them will be good in leadership. Not all of them will be good in sports. There are some who will not. And we get a lot of these. And adolescents will come and tell me, my mom says I'm not as good as my brother. Yeah, because I don't want to be a leader, or I don't want to do sciences, or I don't want to do math. All I just want is to do journalism or do something. So I don't know, Zuze, maybe you can tell us more about sibling rivalry.
Yeah, I think I've spoken to a lot of young people who said something about that, like how they're being compared to even their neighbor's kid. You know, the neighbor's kid got selected to a certain university, and then them they didn't make it and stuff. So they're comparing and everything. So they just feel like they are losers, they're failures. And what that does, it forces someone to try maybe to prove, and they'll keep on pursuing something that they don't really like, but they just want to prove their parents wrong, which we just waste their time. And for others, they just rebel. They just rebel to say, okay, I'm not good enough. There you have it. I will not be good enough in anything, because you feel like I'm not good enough in anything. So let me just not be good enough in anything. So they can rebel. They can actually leave the house, even go, do bad stuff and everything, just because they feel like you're not understanding who they are and what they really are, or what God created them to be. Because the reality is everyone is different. You can have a child who loves math and the other one is creative. So it even starts at a younger age. If you don't really study the kids and realize that, okay, this one is good at this and this one is good at that, you might end up forcing the kids in one thing, which you will hurt one. Yeah.
Wow. Paulette,
Yeah.
I think I'll address this to you because I've got on this kind of issues a lot in terms of names, and especially in the Kikuyu community,
Yeah.
where the firstborn is named after the parent, the husband's
The husband's mother or the husband's father. Yeah.
So in this case where this child, your own child, the mother, you give birth to a child, you've named them your mother-in-law's name, and they look like your mother-in-law, and you actually, as a mother, you don't like this child, and this child growing up being rejected by you as a mother. Yeah. Have you?
I have.
What do you think about that? Yeah. I was shocked because of this naming business of.
Yeah. And I feel like I respect the Kikuyu culture, but I think it's good to research. It's not only even about your in-law, it's also that person. Who was that person? Because even names carry a lot of weight. You can be named after a drunkard and you become a drunkard. Because I think it's very important for parents to also really learn to really pray. I feel like I will pray for the name of my children. As in, it has reached a place where I'm like, and then if you see the way they're saying that names carry a lot of weight, if you've already named your child such and such, then pray that God releases the pain or the anger that comes with that name, or whatever is the barrier between that. Because if it's your in-law and they don't treat you well, you can pray. You can pray for God to give you the love for your child, because they are not your in-law. Honestly, it's just a name. But I know at times it may be a name you never want to hear, and your child is called that name.
Yeah. People. Do you have that kind of a thing with Ghana?
So we do.
Do you have?
We do have. So way back in my culture, so I'm from Accra, which the tribe which comes from Accra are called Gars. So when you're giving birth, the person who they say has a good character and is up there will be the one to bring you out, to outdoor you and show you to the world. So they're the ones to perform the rites and all that. And most of the time, the things, the addictions and things that follow the person follow you. So we stopped doing it with the Christian faith. So they stopped doing it. So I was not named after anyone or any of my siblings. But then there was a generation before, I think, my time, that they were doing it. And it was really something, because most of the time, when people see you, they see the person. They don't even see that, oh,
They didn't see you as a person.
They see the person in you, because they believe they want you to live like the person. So it gives also a lot of pressure, because then you're forced to live up to a certain name and the person was a doctor, so I have to try so hard to be a doctor, and if I can't make it, then I'm a failure. These are things parents also tell their children, like, this is what you're doing, this is what you will be in future. It's good to speak positively into their lives, but then we all came with gifts.
Yeah, different gifts.
So knowing your children and
it's
knowing
very important.
what they have will help you know what to speak into their life.
We've touched on a lot on fathers, yeah, the past few what's happened now. What impact is it when you have a very harsh mother or even an alcoholic mother? Is there any, especially to the boys? Will this boy respect women? Will you see women as anything? If the father, the mother is harsh, is violent, those noisy women who, when they enter when they enter your gate, when they enter the estate, even the askaris fear them.
Yeah.
When they wake up in the morning, everyone knows Mama Nani ameambuka. Yeah?
Yeah.
What does it do to the children? Because we've talked about the fathers. Now, what does a harsh woman and alcohol, or even a woman who beats her husband, what does it do? And I want to hear with the men, what will it do to, if you had a harsh, what do you think it will do? Elvis, you have to say something.
Yeah, I think comments on that. I had a friend whose mother was actually, they didn't have a very good relationship with the father. So because of that, the woman was very, very defensive and offensive at the same time. So it was really bad point that when this guy impregnated a woman before marriage, he rejected him. He rejected the boy from his life. Like, told him never tell anyone that he was that kind of. So the effect that it had, boy, was he never respected men the same, because you see, the person that you really loved, mother, is actually acting very badly. So this example that it set up for him was actually, I think all women are like this. It became so general that they are no longer, now the respect that he was meant to give to a woman, and even now that kind of person will not even get into marriage, because even reality gets into marriages, men are supposed to be like this. They are meant to be like in a certain way, and you see that is a very bad thing, because the family now stops functioning the way it's supposed to function. So it has a bad effect, I think.
So it becomes dysfunctional.
I think Rose,
yes.
Before Suze says what he has to say, I think, you see, when a woman is rejected, they tend to like, they're gonna like react, and it's going to be on the children. Your father did not love me. Why should I love you? You look like your father. Why should I love you? Did he leave me? Women are like that. Like, we tend to be emotional. So those emotions, that anger, the children are the ones who suffer with that anger, especially when a woman is injured.
Yeah. So an injured woman, a wounded. So what is the impact? Maybe then briefly to the boys.
For me, I would say it in two ways. If I was young and I'm a boy, and my let's say my mother is loud and everything, I wouldn't want to be in that house. So it's either I'll spend my time at the neighbors. I will not try to be around my mother too much. Which will affect our relationship in a way, because I will not have a relationship with her, because I'm always running away from her. And I think I've seen so many examples of men who would rather spend all their money buying rounds for other people, like rounds of beer for other people to stay on the drinking spot, than to go home to a loud wife. You get?
Yeah.
So those are things that might, the woman might not see that they're being so loud, but when the person on the receiving end, will just start to withdraw. So the automatic, for men, we don't use words too much. I don't know if there's any expressive men, but what I know is men with words, it's not our strength. That's why men tend to just, you know, beat you up if you're talking too much, just to keep you, to silence you.
Zuze.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing from you, and from you, you said a man will withdraw even from the mother, and just keep quiet, and maybe spend more time out with the family, with their friends. Yeah. And
Yeah.
what our elders has said is they won't respect women as they grow up. Yeah. Judah, what do you think? What?
For me, being someone who I've learned a lot from the mothers in my life. When I say mothers, I have my aunties, and so I call every older woman a mother because I learned so much from them. And it's very key if they are, because we learn how to treat women, how to treat our wives in future from the way they relate with us and the way we relate with them and everything. We learn how to relate, how to talk to the opposite sex, how to take rejection, how to learn. We learn a lot from them. So in a case whereby there is this wall of attitude of shouting and not a conducive space where you get to learn these things, then you walk around looking elsewhere, doing try and errors, hoping to learn how to treat women right, which we can never get from out there unless we are taught in a home. So yes, that's my take.
So you can't learn how to treat a woman out there because you didn't see your mother treating your dad, your dad well. What about in the terms of yes, Elvis, I think something.
I wanted to add something before you go to the next point. I think also maybe maybe I forgot because it was triggered by Zuze. I think also some men will get addicted to the drama. So they will end up looking for a woman who is actually dramatic.
They'll end up looking for a drama queen. And you know that's an addiction, it's a disorder.
Yes. So now you want, because now you've been so much into that drama, you feel like it's fun enough not to have drama.
Yeah.
You thrive in chaos, eh?
And so can you see how this thing unfolds when we have a dysfunctional, when children have dysfunctional parents? They'll always end up looking for the same thing. And I've always said it's always a vicious cycle. Unless they get help, they get somebody who will hold their hands and walk with them. So if you're a parent listening to us today, why do you want your child growing up and going for help if you can do it now? Yeah, you can do it now and have a healthy relationship with your child. We need to add, for a girl who grows up with a mom who is very violent and noisy, that girl grows up with really low self-esteem. That girl will grow up not knowing the mother, not knowing how a woman should behave. And as she grows up, she'll end up having even competition with the mom. Yeah, they end up having like a competition because, mom, you're doing this, even me, I can do this. There's no relationship. She won't respect the mother. She'll see the mother as any other woman. And immediately she reaches 18 or wants to leave the house, the day she'll go to university or the day she'll get a job and she's asked, where do you want to work? If you're staying in Nairobi, she'll say she wants to work very far and she'll never come back. Even on Christmas, they never come back. They'll only come back when you're very, very, very sick. There's no relationship. The only way the relationship will now come back is when this young girl has either come for counseling or has found somebody who understands and walks that path and has a healing. That's when now she'll come back, or even the boy will come back and ask for forgiveness. And forgiveness basically is not even from you. Forgiveness is for her own self, so she can start her own life again. So we actually do not want those kind of things in our children. I want us to touch, there are many points we want to touch, and it's only 1 hour. But I want us to talk about the fear of failure, of parents trying to if I did not manage it. Personally, I'm not good in maths. I can say that. But if I did not manage to become an engineer or a doctor, yeah, I drill my children, yeah, to become one. And basically, there's an emotional detachment. For you, you are seeing behavior, as in it's in your house, it's like it's worse than a school. In your house is you wake up at 8. If you don't wake up at 8, there's a punishment. You eat at this time. You have to get this grades A, and you need to be a doctor. And you have to go to Alliance. You have to go to Harvard. You have to go to Lenana, and in Lenana or in Alliance is this house that you need to sleep in, because that's the house my dad slept in. That's, this kind of. So Judah, this is basically helicopter parenting. Yeah, helicopter parenting. And helicopter parenting is you're so emotionally detached to this child. Yeah. So, and this child is growing up with fear of failure. There's so much pressure. So tell me about, that's basically dysfunction.
Yes, that's very dysfunctional, because sometimes it's not even like this is a family tradition, so you have to keep up to it. Sometimes, and this is from people I've had communication with, sometimes it's my dad could not do it, so they want me to do it. And so it seems like I don't have a life. I am my dad's younger version. Like now he gets to come out of his body and then control his body on what to do. And it's really makes the young people, or makes the teens or whoever it is, feel like, yo, I can't do this. This is not my passion. I'd rather fail to prove you a point, not because I can't do it, but then because I want to tell you that, listen to me, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm passionate about. But then they are so much stuck in, this is what I think is right for you, because I wasn't able to do it because of challenges at home or whatever be the case during their time. And this time, they can make sure that dream comes true for them. Then they can hold your certificate and go and tell their friends, yo, my son is a doctor. I could not do it, my son has been able to do it.
And can become a doctor.
And I feel like parents need to move away from that to allow children to be who they want to be, who God created them to be. And that's when they can fully operate in awareness, in self-awareness, and in love, and they can do amazing stuff. Yes, not limiting themselves to their 8 to 5, because then they stop also dreaming. Unless they are told of what to do. Yeah.
Rose, I think that is it's called what? That is being a narcissist. Because you're trying to make your child you. It's about you. It's not about your child. It's about you. It's about what you didn't do, so you want your child to do. So those are just narcissistic behaviors. That's how they start. Yeah.
Just to add on what Judah is saying, I think when it's in the context of I failed, so I want you to do what I failed to do, it's unnecessary pressure for the kid, and it's not right. Because I believe in most cases, there are some parents who maybe have been successful businessmen, and a kid I can actually learn from my parents, and they're the ones that inspire me actually. I can choose to do what they have done because I have seen them succeed in that. So as a kid, I see my parent succeed in being a doctor. I will have more of the drive to try and be a doctor. But if I have not seen you succeed in that, I mean, when you even look at it, if we share the same DNA and you haven't succeeded in what you were trying to do, chances are very high I will not succeed as well. So, because I am a product of you. So I think parents need to understand that there's motivating kids in a line of okay, this is our family. We have all succeeded in this, and you inspire them to do the same. It doesn't hurt, but try to push them to do something that maybe you were inspired and motivated in your days, and you didn't have the chance to do it, or there was no money to do it. Now you have the money, and you're like, my kid is going to do it. May I suffer for my kid to do it? Nah, like I don't think that's fair for the young ones. Yeah.
What is fair? They need to do well. Then I think we're getting a lot of thumbs up. Pastor Judy, thank you so much. Ato, Cecilia, Sarah, Victor, Virginia, please give us your comments. Give us your comments, your questions, yeah, so that we can discuss them more. But let's still go back to this point of fear of failure of a parent trying to live the dream through the child. What is wrong about, now let me now flip the other side. What is wrong about trying to push my child to be the best they can be? I mean, if I'm a doctor, why can't my child not become a doctor? Because I have managed this business, or our business, but this is an empire. I've built an empire for you people. So what is wrong? I mean, what is wrong with that? I'm just now flipping the other side, really. Anyone can now answer that. What's wrong with that?
If it's an empire, then you can look for a CEO, and I can go back to making paintings. If you build an empire, then you can look for a CEO to run it, and let me go.
But the empire I was building for you. Yeah?
Yeah, but I don't have to do it.
Personally think there is no problem when you have been successful in the same thing. Like you pursue being a doctor or a nurse, and you have built an empire around that. Maybe you have your own hospital, but it has to come from the kid because they are inspired by you and they are motivated by you. Because you can't encourage, one thing that people need to understand is you can't encourage a person who doesn't want to do the thing. If I decide I want to lose weight, which I don't have, but if I decide if I don't decide that I want to lose weight, no one can encourage me. Your encouragement will look like you're forcing me to lose weight. But if I decide to say, okay, I want to lose weight, and then you say, okay, let's go run, let's go to the gym, that will make sense for me because you're encouraging my choice. Yeah. So the other thing is forcing, the other thing will be encouraging. Yeah.
What I'm hearing you is just having a relationship with your child from the word go. Building a relationship and let them flourish. It's like planting a seed. And for you, your work as a parent is to keep on watering and watering and watering. And if it goes the direction you don't want, you don't go nibble and make it, show it the right direction, show it the right path that the plant should go, and it should go facing towards the sun. And the sun should be the child's dream and the child's purpose. So build the manure in your child's life, right? There's something that...
And Rose.
Wow, yeah.
Parents also have this tendency of saying, "Oh, my little doctor," when the kids are like, "Oh yeah, oh my."
But we are calling into the child's life. We're told to call into the child's life. Yeah, this is my engineer.
No, Rose, say my child is.
You have to know the child. They would
Speak purpose into your child's life, not exactly speak purpose. Just say there is purpose. Don't start saying doctor.
Don't call out the thing that they are not interested in. If you
Yeah.
see that
Pressure.
something, if you see that they're interested in sports, call out that encouragement, encourage in what they're already interested in. Because you actually have to know that there's a stage where you have to notice and observe your child. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? Observe them and ride on that. I believe people can be successful in anything. We have seen footballers being successful in football from a younger age. Yeah. So because you wanted a pilot doesn't mean if your son is very good at soccer and you shut down the soccer and say, no, you're going to be a pilot because I'm calling out the, I mean.
As a pilot. But the only way we can know our children is if we spend both quality and quantity time with them. We just learn them. And during this time of lockdown, isn't this not the best time now to sit down and understand who our children are? Yeah. There's one thing I want us to pick up before we finish, is blended families. Yeah, I come with my children, and we get married. And I must say there's some blended families who are functioning very well. They function very well because they put down the rules down. So, Paulette, maybe I should come to you on this. What happens if a blended family is dysfunctional?
First of all, it starts with you are replacing me, right? I am, this is my mother. Why are you coming to replace me? First of all, the fact that I feel like before you get a blended family, you need to really sit down with your child and explain. Explain that this is going to happen. Before you even get married, they're already used to this person. The fact that you wake up one day and decide I'm bringing someone into your child's life without consulting them is wrong. Because most children feel like they're coming to be replaced. And these are the things, and then you find kids are just they're not okay. Because I have had children who are just as young as 14 years who are depressed because till now they don't understand why there is a man and his kids in our house. Like my mother didn't tell me, she did not consult me, and I don't feel like I'm important in this family since it was not important for her to consult me. She didn't tell me that she's bringing in, it's not that she wants the love. This is a father figure coming in, which is a good thing, but it depends on how you take it as a parent.
Wow.
This is the mother figure who's coming in. Yeah.
So they might feel a feeling of rejection.
Yeah.
Or not being understood. It's
like they don't fit in. I don't fit in this family. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. We've touched a lot. We've discussed a lot, and we really tried to touch on each and everything within this 1 hour. But before I give you each the final word to say, I just want to talk about what is a healthy family? Because you know what, there's no perfect family. There's no perfect mom. There's no perfect dad. There's no perfect child. Once in a while, everyone will have their outbursts. But a healthy family should be a family that has very clear boundaries. And we've discussed that, The role of the parent, the role of the child should be very clear. They should know it, They should have a good relationship. And that's what Elvis has picked from the word go. And Paulette talked about values. A healthy family should have clear values that everyone in the family is aware and they know their values. And remember last week we discussed about when a child grows up, they'll combine their societal value, their spiritual value, and their family values and come up with their own values as they go out into the world. Communication Yeah, and Judah, you really talked about when you talked about domestic violence and an alcoholic father. Yeah, where there's no communication, it's just war, and you actually did like this. This is the communication you have. Yeah, when they get annoyed, you beat them. So communication needs to be clear. Everyone needs to be heard. Yeah. So this mother who comes in shouting until the watchman knows, when you hear mom comes in, you're hiding. Yeah, it's not right. Communication needs to be clear. Yeah. And there's an interesting thing is conflict needs to be allowed and be solved. You need to hear and understand. Let your children air their dissatisfaction. You also need to air your dissatisfaction. You need to find a way how to balance all this and air this dissatisfaction. And it's very important to teach all the members of the family to care and serve for each other. That will help with sibling rivalry. Yeah, because one child, because if you start sibling rivalry now, as you grow up, I can assure you there's some people are not talking to their brothers and sisters now. Why? Because their parents compare them when they were young. Or you're not talking to your neighbor because your neighbor was so bright, or so-and-so's daughter was so sharp. She used to get the A's and you're getting the C plus, and your mom kept on comparing you with this girl, but you're not talking because, and the worst thing, she got married before you. Yeah. So you're not talking because you're always compared, and this should not be done. This should not be. So basically, I've just put out a few points of a good and healthy family, which we should all strive to be. So before we finish, I'd like a parting shot from each and everyone. One liner. Zuze, Paulette, Judah, and Elvis. The way that way. Parting shot. What would you say? Advice.
All right. I would say there's power in family. I mean, it's the first thing that God brought together, family. So there's really power in family, and not all families are perfect. As long as people are not perfect, families will never be perfect. But let's strive to be better, because to make sure that we kill the cycle of creating more and more broken families, because that will create broken society and the broken world. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think I would say, for parents out there, please be careful of the picture you paint for your children. That picture of that family, the painting, because it speaks a lot to who they are and who they become in the future. Yeah. So they should really, really, really paint a good picture for their children. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mine will be, parents, know your children, know their passions, know their gifts, and speak positively into it. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Okay, mine, I have three very briefly. One is actually every emotion, yes. Secondly is education is the most important. Like the most, if you understand why you're behaving in a dark certain way, if you understand the source of your emotion, you're able to deal with a lot of stuff better. And the last is actually that family is the foundation of it. Like a broken country is because there is a lot of. So if we sort out families, we sort out a lot bigger. It's bigger than we think about it, because it's the only place that we first learn anything. Even lives are founded first. Our values are the type of family that we grew up in. So my urge to everyone is actually to be very intentional about family, and actually give it the importance it needs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much. And lastly, is a wounded person, a wounded parent, a wounded mother, a wounded father brings up wounded children. Yeah. So if you are going through things from your past that you need to deal with, talk to someone. Talk to just talk to someone, get someone, talk to a specialist. Look for a counselor and talk to them. Work on that, because if you don't break that cycle, you're giving it to your child. So thank you very much once again. We do this every Sunday. We have topics that we discuss. We do this every Sunday at 8 to 9 for about 1 hour. And thank you so much for joining us. And we are on another platform of intentional parenting for a better life. And you can talk to us in any of our handles. It's on the flyer, Karibu Sana. And yeah, and bye. Thank you so much. It's been good. Bye.
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 Bye.